It's your boy Greenruff here, back with another video, and today I got a special video for you guys, man. Today I'm gonna be doing some different type of video. Like, this is of course a discussion, but I guess it's somewhat of a little series I want to do. I guess just straight up just give my honest opinion about pretty much as much aspect of the game that there is. Like, say for example, ZENKAIS, like the PvP mode, PvE, guild, co-op, all that stuff. And I made a community post about it, like, do you guys want to see that? And 93% said yes, and then 7% said no. So I was like, yo, that's at 93% people wants to see this. So I guess you guys want to see my honest take about it, because I kind of give my honest take. I feel like I don't be sugarcoating nothing. I just be like, I be telling you the honest truth. So I guess you know, I feel like it's dope. I feel like it's something to just really talk about. And I kind of just want to bring something new. I kind of like to bring fresh content. And I feel like this is be dope. So for this episode, you guys can see what's on the screen. ZENKAIS. So this is probably going to be the, pretty much the biggest issue in the game. You guys can basically say ZENKAIS ruined the game. This is one of the biggest issues in the game that the devs has to rework. You know what I'm saying? Like, this concept was, I don't know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this concept is just, it's not gonna go away, but they put themselves in a hole. Devs put themselves in a hole with this ZENKAIS concept. Now, let me talk about ZENKAIS, right? The whole concept of ZENKAIS basically is bringing old units and then making them good again, right? That's basically what they want to do, right? And I like that. I like that because what's my favorite character in the game? My favorite character in the game is, where is he? Where are you, Piccolo? Is this guy. And I'm able to get to use him, and he's a really solid unit because he's ZENKAIS, right? So I kind of like that. I like that I get to use Piccolo, like, I like to use old units that kind of once was really good and I can use them again. I like that. But I just felt like how they made it, how they basically kind of monetized the way making old units good again, I just do not like. I don't like it at all. So let me basically kind of just talk about it. So for a ZENKAIS unit, when a unit gets a ZENKAIS, basically they get their whole main ability reworked. They basically get, their green card gets reworked, ultimate card gets reworked, blue card gets reworked, basically, right? And then they get a ZENKAIS ability, right? So on top of their Z ability that they already have, they get the ZENKAIS ability. So this is basically, you're given 40% more strike, 35 to more blast, 40 to more strike defense, and then 35 to more blast defense. So that you're adding this on top of her, right? Okay. Then you're reworking her two old unique abilities. Okay, so you're reworking these two, right? And then you're giving her two more new abilities. And it's like, wow. It's like, that's a lot. And then not only that, they're buffing up their stats, right? They're buffing up the stats to the highest power levels in the game. If you guys check my power level, if I go to character list, what's at the top? They're all ZENKAIS units, right? So I just felt like they did a lot. They did a lot for the new units. And it's like, when you look at the value of it, they cost 7K to 8K CC for them. And it's like, okay. And it's like, if I summon on a banner, I spend 8K CC. There's a chance that I don't even pull the new unit. And if I do pull the unit at 8K CC, it's going to be at 2 stars. Then I got to pay 2K more CC just to get them to 6 stars. And that unit at 6 stars is definitely not going to fight against a 14-star ZENKAIS 7 unit still. And it's like, the ZENKAIS unit route is so good. And there's another point I want to talk about is, you don't need to summon to get a ZENKAIS 7 unit. Think about this. So I just checked the missions thing. They don't have it, but every time they release the ZENKAIS unit, right? Say a new player just played the game, right? They don't, what's the newest? Who's the new ZENKAIS? Super Saiyan 4 Goku. They can have him at 0 stars. But for a certain amount of time, you can buy the ZENKAIS booster pack. It costs 2K CC. And it's for 3,000 Z power and 1,000, I think it's like 1,250 ZENKAIS power for him. So you spend that 2K CC, you're getting that unit to 7 stars. Because 7 stars, that's what you need. You need a unit to be at 7 stars for you to ZENKAIS them. So you spend 2K CC, you're getting that unit to 7 stars. And you're getting him to Zenkai 1. That value for that 2K CC is amazing. And then you just spend what? The rest, like 6K CC just to get him to Zenkai 7. So you basically spend 8K CC for a unit that you never owned to get him to 7 stars and to Zenkai 7. That value is too good. That's too good. Like, why would people summon on banners? That value is nuts. That value is nuts. That's insane. So also that I feel like that's the biggest thing is like, you know, people doesn't even need to own the units for them to get the Zenkai 7 units. And it's like, dang. It's like I don't really need a summon. I don't really need a summon because I could just buy that. The only time you pretty much need a summon for Zenkai units is for LFs. Because LFs, you can't buy the Zenkai booster packs. You have to summon on the step-up banner for you to get them to 7 stars, get them Zenkai, right? That's pretty much the only value that banners have is pretty much the step-ups because you want to get more LF copies. So when they do get their Zenkai, you have them at 7 stars and stuff. That's pretty much the only reason to summon, in my opinion. Like, the new units that comes out now, some of them are good. Some of them are good, but eventually they're going to get a Zenkai. And if you don't have them, you can just buy the Zenkai booster packs and then, you know, get them to 7 stars. And then you can Zenkai 7 them when they come out again, when they get their Zenkais, which is nuts. So, I don't know. When I look at a Zenkai unit, I think what I do like this. I like the Zenkai ability. I think this is pretty dope because you can make some pretty fun teams with the Zenkai ability thing right here. I like this. I think the biggest problem with me that I have with it is giving them 2 more unique abilities. I think that's pretty much my biggest take is that just imagine 18 does not have this. Take away 18 and basically if you have 18 that comes with that has 40% damage inflicted and does this against Saiyan, she'll be solid. She'll be a balanced unit. Would you guys agree? Like this ability right here makes her nuts. Every time she faces an enemy, she gets 20 key and card draw speed. So every time you switch out, she stacks this. And then this right here is really, really strong. And I just felt like them adding 2 more unique abilities it was ridiculous. I think this was, in my opinion, I think this was pretty much I think this was the worst thing that they did for the Zenkai units was adding 2 more unique abilities. I felt like if you would have just kept these, if you just reworked these, right, rework the unique abilities, right? Have her had this, she would have been solid. She would have been good. She wouldn't have been broken. And then it would have been to the point where the new units are still more valuable, but the Zenkai abilities are solid too. But it will be to a point where Zenkai units are good. But say, for example, right, we have the yellow 17 that came out. Like, you know, 18 is good. 18 is a really solid unit. But when you look at Zenkai, when you look at the new yellow 17 for the androids, you look at his Z ability, right? He has an android Z ability better than 18 because hers is girls. And like his unique abilities would have been better than hers. So people would have had a reason to be like, maybe that's a Zenkai because he is the better android. And I can use 18 for her Zenkai ability right here to buff him up. But 17 is also is a better unit than her. So that would make him even more stronger. So it would have been, it would gave a reason for people to summon on banners and like have their Zenkai ability characters not stronger than the new units because they're decent, you know, but they're going to just buff up that new unit even more. And it would have made more people try to summon on these type of banners. But since you made this unit get 2 more unique abilities and then you rework the old ones and then you rework the main ability, the blue card, the green card, oak card, she just has too much value. And then the stats, and then even the stats as well is like, that's what she has. So I think the stats is okay. I think they could have toned the stats down a little bit too because the stats is just ridiculous. I think they could have toned it down on the power level and then remove the 2 new unique abilities because I just didn't get why they did that. You're already reworking the main ability. You're already giving her this Zenkai ability. You're already reworking the old unique abilities. Why did they need 2 more unique abilities? I have no clue. I have no clue why they did that. So I think that's pretty much it, but not pretty much it. I also want to bring up this point is for the free-to-play players. I look at that point of view, right? Is I think about a free-to-play player and I think about, say for example, without Zenkais, right? I think about how much CC he grinds up a month I think it's like what, usually 12K to 13K CC. And say if they summon on a banner, right? Say they summon on a stepper banner, say they summon on a regular banner, they get shafted hard, right? They pretty much cannot really compete in the PvP, basically in PvP, right? For like, you know, because the meta is shifting, like they just got shafted, right? And it's hard for them to play. But this Zenkai ability, like the whole concept of Zenkai can really help a free-to-play player. Like, I know there's a free-to-play player of the name Azdi. Shout out to my boy Azdi. I kind of want to bring up this example. He does not spend money on the game, but what he did was he basically said, all right, I'm going to pick a team, and I'm going to focus all my resources on that team. So he picks androids. He's an androids mate. Shout out to Azdi. That boy's about to hit 4K sub, which is nuts. But, okay, so let's just go androids. He goes here. He basically going to have, you know, 16 right here. He's going to have him to get Zenkai buff by Super 17. He's going to have her, and then he's going to most likely have Revival Cell. This is pretty much his team. He invested all his CC on this, but he is guaranteed to have a strong team to fight in PvP, which is also pretty dope. That's what I like about Zenkai's. But I also just felt like they should, like, I like the like I said, I like the whole Zenkai 7. I just do not think that they should have had the 2 unique abilities, and the power level they should have toned down the power level, or like the base stats total for the Zenkai units. And I felt like even if they even did that, I feel like Zenkai would have been still fair. They still would have been fair. They would have been pretty strong. They wouldn't have been busted. They just wouldn't have been busted, and it would have gave you the reason to still go after like the new units. Because I feel like I said, I feel like if you'd have took right here, if you'd have took 18s right here, like right here, let me go here. If you'd have took 18 unique abilities right here, these 2 unique abilities, right, and then tone down the power level, I felt like 17 would have been stronger than her. Like, if you look at 17, like, I felt like this right here would have been way better. Like, he would have had 90% damage inflicted. He would have had shut seals on main abilities. He would have like I feel like he would have had a better passive than 18. And I felt like it would have gave a reason for Android's main to summon on that banner, because his Z ability is better, right? Android strike attack, when he's at 6 stars, he gives 30% to Android strike and blast attack, which is way better than 18, because 18 does girls and he does androids, which is nice, like I said. And then his main ability is dope. He has permanent card draw speed, which 18 will not have if you would remove those 2 unique abilities. Blue card can lock people in. Green card takes away stuff. Like, I just felt like 17 would have been a better unit, in my opinion. And I felt like a lot of people would have tried to summon as an android's main for 17. But, you know, since you have 18 that has 4 unique abilities and ridiculous power stats, like base stats, it's so hard for you to summon on them. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, also, you still have the fact that you still got to get lucky to pull this man, too. So, I don't know, man. That's kind of my thoughts on Zenkai. I like the fact that you bring an old unit back to being strong. I like that. But having them with 4 unique abilities, and then you're making these stats is ridiculously strong. It kind of hurts the value of new units. So, but it also helps free-to-play players, like I said. But I feel like they made Zenkai's too strong. They made them too strong, bro. Like think about this, bro. Let's go to this unit right here. You guys could basically say he is the best unit in the game. You guys could say 18, but I think Gohan has been the best unit in the game for 8 to 9 months. He's been the best unit for 8 to 9 months. He's reigned the best unit. He has the longest reign of being the king in Dragon Ball Legends. Like, it's nuts. It's nuts. Like, he released 8 months ago, and he's still top dog. So, I don't know, man. That's just pretty much my thoughts. They made Zenkai's too good, and too valuable. You can't make them too good and too valuable at the same time. Then why would people summon on the banners? So, let me know what you guys think. Like, was adding, you know, the extra 2 unique was ridiculous in the base stats. I feel like they need the base stats to be good, right? You know, they want them to be good, but I feel like they could have toned it down there, take out the 2 unique abilities, and then that Zenkai unit would have still been straight. It would have been straight. It would have been really solid. But I felt like it would also like I said, the new banner, the new units that comes out they still would have had their value. I felt like they still would have definitely had their value right there too. But if you're making a unit too good with 4 unique abilities and then their base stat is too nuts, it's like it's so hard to pass up on that. It's so hard to pass up on that. Like and me, like I'd rather Zenkai the unit than summoning on banners. Like you guys see here, I'm stacking up my CC, but I feel like at the end of the day, I'm still going to Zenkai more units than I summon on these banners. So that's pretty much my take on Zenkais. The devs definitely put them in the hole, and I don't know how they're going to get themselves out of it, bro, because I don't know. Like, I just don't know. Like, the fact, like, once this guy gets, if a regular unit takes over Gohan as the best unit in the game, then that's power creep, and that there's a unit that's actually stronger than Gohan that's not a Zenkai unit. Take that into account. You know, a regular unit is better than Gohan, a Zenkai 7 unit. Power creep, and that's bad. And if you release regular other, units that's, subpar, then Gohan is still the best unit. They don't know what, I don't know what to do. They put themselves in a hole. I don't know if they're going to ever get themselves out of it. I just don't think so. So that's my thoughts. I know they're definitely getting better, being more balanced with the Zenkai units, but still, they're just still more valuable, bro. Like, it's too valuable. So let me know what your thoughts on it. Do you guys agree with my discussion, like my takes on Zenkais and everything? And if you guys have your own opinions about it, comment down below. I know there's going to be a ton of comments. I'm definitely going to read them all. I'm definitely going to discuss them with y'all. I'd like to hear y'all thoughts on Zenkais as just as a whole. And yeah, so the next video I'm probably going to do is probably going to be talking about PvP. And I think hopefully you guys like this video. So I'm definitely going to do more of these for this week, and just stay tuned. So without further ado, like, comment, subscribe. It's been Greenruff, man, and I'm out. Peace.